Now, digging deeper into this last issue about education, why should you use dashboards? Why do I recommend that you use dashboards in education and research? First of all, dashboards are a part of the ArcGIS platform. ArcGIS is a connected set of maps, apps, layers, capabilities, and more. And number two, you can quickly and powerfully visualize data in a dashboard. Third, you can share data within your own research team or with your students in one class or between universities via partnered collaborations or, again, with the whole world. Also, they're in high demand in the workplace. So these are just a few reasons why dashboards should, I recommend, be used. And it integrates these things that you see on the right-hand side here in that graphic. Digging a little bit deeper, here's one example. But going from ArcGIS Online to creating a dashboard, that is the basic workflow. It's as simple as that. You've got ArcGIS Online, you've got your maps and your layers and your data there, and then from there, you create a dashboard. And you share that with, again, the whole world, or a subset of that whole world is your research or class or university or college or school, or with nobody. That's something you're just working on yourself. Here's an example of a water quality study. The additional educational benefits from this: 3 students traveled to Puerto Rico collecting data with ESRI field maps, Survey 123, and webhooks. The professor could not be in the field, but benefited from seeing real-time data collection on a dashboard from the professor's vantage point in Pennsylvania. The professor also used the dashboard to guide the students in the field and to make sure the students were safe. I love that part. In the words of one of the students, pretty cool. So here is an article about that, from paper and pencil to mobile apps and maps. This is a Villanova University research team, and here is the study site and more information about that. You can search on these. Here's their dashboard, their sampling sites. Fascinating. So being able to do this in the field is really quite powerful, and linking it back have all kinds of additional educational benefits. So just do a search on from paper and pencil to mobile apps, mobile maps and apps. Maybe put an ESRI tag on that search and you'll find it. Another example of why use dashboards in education and research. Remember, I talked about the ArcGIS platform in brief. It is an interconnected set of maps, apps, tools, data, methods. They're connected is the thing that gives you power. Now, you and I have phone apps that do one or two things. We have apps on our computer that do one or two things. And they're not connected to anything else, but they're very useful, and that's why we use them. But ArcGIS is a system. It's a platform. And so here's an example of a Survey 123 that feeds an ArcGIS Online map and a dashboard. And these 3 elements are included in a story map. So if I go to this walkability study of mine, you can see here that I have, what's walkability? Why do communities care about it? So here I've got a story map, and I explain this in more detail in other videos. The story map is all about, why do communities care about walkability? What are the benefits to communities? So I have a set of photographs where I have students and others reading the story map to rank the walkability. Then I have a Survey 123 that's inside the story map that you can fill out because I've crowdsourced it. I've made it available to anyone, so anyone can take this survey that is linked to this button that you see right here. Click to submit point in your own community or a place that you have a photograph of. How would you rank that place in terms of its walkability? And then I have, as you would expect, the data from that survey fed into this web map. The green being walkable as deemed by the people filling out the survey, and the hollow pedestrian symbols meaning not walkable. Okay, and then finally, and more germane to this workshop right here, this presentation right here on dashboards, let's pop that out for better real estate, for more space here, is a dashboard. The dashboard in my case is fed by one feed, and that's my survey 123 on walkability. The JHU COVID dashboard is fed by multiple feeds: CDC, World Health Organization, local, regional, national health organizations around the world. So it gets multiple feeds. Mine has one feed in it. But you can see that from that one feed, I've got a lot of information in my dashboard. I've got a legend. I've got in the lower center here, I've got a set of photographs indicating walkable versus not walkable. I've got the web map in here that's interactive, that I can click on these points and see that, these different walkable or not walkable places around the world. So I have attributes on each one of those that come from my survey. I've got a bar chart here in the upper center, the top center, I've got a ranked list. How do I do that? That's coming up in this workshop. How do I rank this list? And in the upper right, I've got a pie chart with indication that roughly 1/4 of the points in my web map are pedestrian unfriendly and 3/4 are pedestrian friendly. 771 points as of this moment that I'm filming this video, and 18 points added last month. The top 3 months for survey, so that indicates that there's a filter going on and a ranking behind the scenes in this dashboard. So this dashboard is part of my story map. It's embedded in my story map to tell the complete story. I have a map, I have a dashboard, I have a survey, and all those 3 elements are wrapped up into this story map that tells me about my project, my walkability project. So dashboard was a key part of that. The power there is twofold. Number one, each one of those elements took me a very short amount of time to create. Roughly 2 class periods for the story map, 2 class periods for the survey, 2 class periods for the web map, and maybe 3 class periods for the dashboard because I have some additional advanced elements in there. But we're not talking weeks, months to create these things. So they're easy to create, but it also shows that ArcGIS is a connected system, which gives you a lot of power because you don't have to use a completely different kind of interface. It's all connected, and these tools are interactive, and they can work with each other. Again, that's one of the powers here. Now, why dashboards in education and research? Couple of last reasons. It forces you to consider scale, symbology, classification, and other communication skills. Number 2, it focuses attention to where needed, communicates at a glance, with easy to spot indicators, figures, flags that focus attention. So for example, see the left side there. These things evolve over time, as they should, as other web mapping applications and other things that you work on evolve over time as you learn more, as the tools evolve, and as you have additional needs and requirements. So for example, in the left side there is the 311 requests for Pittsburgh as originally conceived and as originally published. You can see that a couple of those pie charts are a little bit confusing, a little bit hard to read. Maybe a better indicator would be an actual indicator in the right side. So as this evolved, you can see that the right side is a bit easier to interpret. These evolve over time. Same thing with my own dashboard on the walkability. When I first conceived that walkability dashboard in 2019, you can see it looked like on the left side there. I was sort of happy with that for a while, but as time has gone on and the tools improved, my own knowledge improved, I've got additional functionality in there, and you can see what it looks like at the present time on the right side. So it's improved over time, and that's another nice thing. You can as you learn more, your dashboards could evolve as well. So it's a learning experience. We're all part of this lifelong learning endeavor. Selected dashboards. Let's take a look at a couple more of these. I've showed you a few so far, but the dashboards gallery is a very nice way for you. Just take a look, do a search on dashboards, ArcGIS gallery, and you'll find these. You can see here that you've got redlining, crime, health, development, from local to global scale, water infrastructure all around the world. We'll look at a few of these in more detail, but you can see that this gallery, which has at the moment about 3 pages worth of things in it, is full of really interesting examples. This is sort of a greatest hits of dashboards. It's not the only thing, but I really like, having worked at the USGS for years, this Living Atlas live stream gauge network. Let's take a look at this. I've got thousands of stream gauges in here. Wow, fascinating. Look at this. And each one of these is linked to the hydrograph, where I can see the stream gauge. I can tie it to what's happening. Why is this in a different color? Because it looks like it was at flood stage here over the Little Wabash here. Minor flood, 20 feet high right now. And so we've got in the table, we can click on the map. We can see the stage height. So it's a dashboard of all of the USGS stream gauges. Fascinating to have that at our fingertips. That is a lot of data in a short amount of space. So take a look at this dashboards gallery at some point. I think it will inspire you and help you to gain ideas about what's possible. Let's look at a couple of others that I've pulled out here. And for example, the Audubon, they've been doing citizen science and observation community engagement for over 100 years. One of the things that I think is fascinating about one of their chapters in Northern Virginia, they've got this web map here in ArcGIS Online, but they also have a dashboard with some of that same information, but additional elements that I think illustrates, you can see the difference between the web map and the dashboard here. So, okay, what about the different wildlife sanctuary areas in a very urban, heavily urban zone, but how can habitat be protected, and where are the protected areas in this area? Fascinating to be able to do this and be able to investigate each one of these points in more detail. And you've got lots of information again, and you can select by year, you can select by date, so you've got some capability of interacting. Okay, we could investigate that some more, and I encourage you to do so. Let's take a look at this water quality dashboard. Water is an important part of our world, right? Ever more so as we move forward in the 21st century. So here is, okay, water quality status for Maryland. What is the water quality like in community X, community Y, community Z? We can look at the different gauges at the bottom. I really like the way they've done this. Really interesting to have this interaction with a tool like this. Wow. Investigate this more thoroughly on your own. Redlining in urban heat islands. Let's take a look at that. I think what indicates to me with these dashboards is that you've got no shortage of social and environmental issues that you can investigate with these dashboards, right, folks? So what's the relationship between historical events and trends versus what the situation is now in different cities, and looking at impervious surface, tree cover, minority population, etc. It's just a very rich data set that you've got at your fingertips here with these dashboards. And notice here, I can select the city. I can interact with this in other ways with different tools that I've got at my fingertips. I can actually interact with the map, banding rectangles, circles, and other polygon shapes, and then obtain information for those shapes that I draw on the map. So lots of interactivity with your data users possible in these dashboards. And let's also look at the NFL Super Bowl. This is a fun issue, a fun thing. It's a little bit confusing here with the number of teams that are trying to be shown in this donut chart here, but this is fascinating to see. Oh gosh, who's lost the Super Bowl the most times? I'm in Denver, so it's a little grim for me to see Denver number 5 in here, but also Denver's won some, so they're up in the upper chart as well. But I'm a Green Bay fan, so it's good to see Green Bay Packers up here, most recent. And you've got this. Wow, you can scroll all the way back to 1970. Anyway, the point is, you've got all kinds of information here. 1967, Green Bay over Kansas City. Cool, but it's just grand to be able to do this. And look where the Super Bowls have actually been played, as well as where the teams are. Just great to be able to do this. So a fun dashboard for sure. But it shows the versatility of these things. There's also admin use of dashboards, for example, in higher education, where you've got arboriculture, the arbor, tree cover, tree species, etc., on the University of North Alabama campus in the lower left. And in the upper right is our colleagues at the University of Michigan showing the use of ArcGIS on their campus. So it's a tool to show, hey, we've got an increasing use, and it's all across the board. It's all across disciplines on campus. So this is an admin tool that they use, and they use a dashboard for monitoring their GIS use. GIS tools and workflows that are most relevant for creating dashboards. Again, I mentioned this earlier, but ArcGIS Online, you can create a dashboard right from your web maps. You can also be an ArcGIS Pro. You can publish that data to ArcGIS Online, and then from there, you're creating a dashboard. If you're in Business Analyst Web, which is another SaaS-based software as a service tool, you can create a dashboard from Business Analyst Web as well. Now, you most likely already have Esri GIS technology on your campus. If you don't, let me know, and my colleagues and I can help you get there.